Hello, my name is Derek Smith. I have over 20 years as a government federal special agent, and now I bring that experience to you at home in my Special Agent Combatives program. Hello everybody, this is Derek Smith from the Special Agent Combative System, and I'm coming to you today with another self-defense tip. And this is one easy self-defense tip that anybody can perform. So there's a difference, as I always tell you, between self-defense or self-protection and the martial arts. Okay, that's not to say that martial arts cannot be used for self-defense, but rather that they are a superset of that whole thing. And more emphasis is usually put on the art or the sports element than in the practical self-defense aspects of it. And to take that even further, since they tend to spend a long time training in one system or another to become proficient at it, become a black belt, there may be a tendency among them to, and I'm talking about martial art instructors, to push their style as the best and to close their mind to other systems. I run into so many martial artists who think they're the end-all be-all, BJJ, ninjutsu, Krav Maga, whatever it may be. For me, it's a mixture of these different things. There's no end-all be-all, because what fits your body, what fits my body, your size, the way you want to defend yourself. Now, these days, with the rising popularity of so-called reality-based systems like Krav Maga and my Special Agent Combative System, those type of things, many of the traditional martial arts are putting heavier emphasis on the practical self-application of their systems. Everybody's getting BJJ in now and Krav Maga and a little bit of this and a little bit of that into their systems to try to make it more street effective. Now, this is good news in my opinion, but as a side effect, it seems that a lot of people are now attracted by the most brutal this, the most brutal that. I'm going to admit, I have a video tape that's called Brutal Beyond Belief. Now, I didn't name it that. The company that produced it named it that. But, of course, they wanted to get the brutal in the title. Okay? So that people are attracted by that most brutal version of self-defense systems that they can find. Now, I believe this is because the more brutal / devastating a move seems, the more confidence or the more confident the student has in its effectiveness. Okay? So they're confident about the effectiveness of that technique. Now, it's a bit of a kill on the fly with a sledgehammer type scenario. I'm all for context-based self-defense, which means that if the situation calls for brutality, then you should act accordingly. You should be as brutal as possible. You rise to the occasion of that attack. And that's what we were taught in law enforcement. You escalate depending on that attack. We were always taught that when we have force, we will meet that force one level higher than that force. Okay? If a guy's attacking with a knife, we need to attack with a gun. If there's one guy attacking us, we need to have two to take that person down. Okay? But breaking somebody's neck because you're not sure if they're being aggressive is a bit over the top, okay? As I'm sure most rational people, and I'm sure you all are, will probably agree with me. Now, there are numerous debates out there on this brutality thing when it comes to self-defense. And when it comes to the self-defense world, people say different things and they feel different things about it. But it's not a topic for this video. We're not getting into that. Anyway, what good are all those skills that you develop if you don't exercise proper awareness and behavior in the first place, which is what I talk about a lot of my videos, being aware of your surroundings. So to at least give you a chance of using those techniques that you develop in the first place. I mean, what good is to have a gun if you can't get your gun out? What good is to have a knife if you can't get that knife out or whatever it may be because you weren't aware and somebody came up behind you and they cold cocked you, while you was walking down the street with texting on your phone. And now it's fun basically to learn self-defense situational techniques. It's fun to see all these things, that you can do. But before we go jumping into these fancy moves, we need to remember that the goal is self-defense, not showing off your skills. The kind of kicks you see in movies and television, those spinning kicks and the Jason Statham, they're great. I love him. And the Jet Lis and all that. I love that stuff. But that's for television, okay? They're showing off their skills, and it's for that effect that you see when you want to watch a movie. It's not pretty to watch Special Agent Combatives in a television show. But I'll say this: I love watching really realistic looking techniques like with Jason Bourne or James Bond or that guy from the Hunted series, whatever it is. I like those because they look real, they look effective. Those kind of techniques that you can possibly really use. Okay. Now, what I'm about to talk about right now is one of the simplest and most effective self-defense techniques, if you even want to call it that, that I've come across. Okay, it's been around in some form or another for a long time. I didn't invent it or anything like that, and it's used extensively by doormen and bouncers at clubs. Yes, and even us when we're doing protective service operations and things like that. Yet it's only quite recently come to be known as a self-defense technique, and it's called the fence. Okay, it came about from this guy who was a British bouncer and self-defense author. His name is Jeff Thompson. But it basically goes like this. Let me walk you through it. So it's called the fence. And basically you simply put your hands up and out in front of you, approximately at chest height, as you might if you were having a conversation with somebody. We used to call this our interview stance in law enforcement. So we're interviewing somebody, our hands are here, or we might be holding a pad or something like that and taking notes, and it's about here. But that's our interview technique for self-defense when we're in law enforcement. Okay. Now another way of doing it is if you like put your hands out to say stop to somebody, stop, stop, hold it right there. The kind of motion you would make if somebody was coming towards you in an aggressive manner. Now that's it. It's a passive gesture. It's very non-confrontational, but don't estimate the power of this. Okay, what you've done is a very natural, or in a very natural, undetectable way, is that you get your hands up and into the range of his face. One of the most effective things I do with someone that coming in to punch me is basically stick my hand out. When I stick my hand out, like you see coming towards the camera, you can't come at me and throw a punch where my hand is in your face. So just simply sticking my hand up. This is the same type of thing. It's defense. It's for your. It's for defense for you. Okay. Now, hopefully, when you stick your hands up, you're going to be much closer than his hands are to you. So you stick your hands out there in his face. Okay. Now, even further than that, what you've done is you created a barrier. Okay, that fence that I'm talking about between him and you. Okay, between you and that assailant. It's going to give you enough space to see any sudden or suspicious moves that he may make, and you still cover. Really, when you look at it, I've covered the side of my body, I've covered the front of my body, and I've covered myself so nothing can come through. And I parry if it comes through the middle. Here's the thing about blocking. I don't even teach blocking because blocking, karate style blocking, will basically get you in trouble. And you don't have to reach for a weapon that's coming in. The hand is coming to you. You just wait for it and you parry it to the side, whatever it may be. And you can get that in my course as well. Okay, but again, you've created that barrier. So any unwelcome gestures, such as blading backwards to throw a haymaker or something like that, the person's doing that, or reaching into his back pocket or whatever it is, and you'll be able to see it. Okay, now you might not see everything he's doing, be able to see everything he's doing, but you have the distinct advantage of already having your primary weapons, your hands, at a very close range to that primary target, his head. Okay, and thus the reaction that you have, your reaction time of your body movements is going to be quicker. Okay, because the thing is, it's hard to go from here, that condition white, to being on target. If your hands are already up, number one, this is non-threatening, but you are ready to defend yourself. So it's a very important move. Okay. Now the thing is that it's kind of sneaky. Okay. Okay. You don't have to be fast or anything like that to do this, to put your hands up. But you are prepared. You appear that if you do react, you might not be able to do anything, but you really can. So again, it's real sneaky. It's extremely practical self-defense technique, and I recommend you start to make it part of your everyday life. You're talking to somebody, hands go up, because you train like you fight. Okay, so if your hands go up and you're talking, this is non-threatening, but you're ready for whatever you need to do. Hands in the eye, fingers in the eye. A blow from here to here to go into the elbow is very, very easy. So you're ready to react. Okay. All right. Now your rule going forward is, or should be, I never let a stranger approach within arm's reach of me without having my hands up. Okay. And even if, like I said, it's non-threatening, man. Hey man, how you doing? It's nice talking to you. Okay. Now, of course, use common sense when you're doing this, okay? Especially if you're at work or something like that. It might not be practical for you to put your hands up in front of somebody if you're at work. But you can do it in a non-threatening manner when you're talking to somebody like I'm doing with you now, and it doesn't look like a self-defense move, but you're always ready. We're taught that in the military and law enforcement, mainly in law enforcement, that our hands are always up so we can always be ready. It's easy to go here than to come from below, okay? Now, how you put your hands out is a matter of preference, okay? You can turn your palms forward, you know, toward them, or you can turn them backwards to block, you know. We do some of the knife techniques blocking this way, okay? You can, so you won't have all your veins and everything facing the person, okay? You can make the stop gesture like I showed you before, or you can look just like you're talking to somebody, like you're conversing like I'm doing with you now. It really just do what feels natural to you, okay? And it's a very natural movement once again, right? After all, like I'm talking right now. So next time you're at a club and you see somebody giving hassle to the bouncer, notice the position of the bouncer, okay? He's going to have his hands up. I used to bounce, okay? If he's in any way experienced, I guarantee you he's going to have his hands at close range to that aggressor, to that person. Even if it's like, yeah, it's okay, guy, you know, putting his hands on his shoulder or whatever. Really, he's doing that for a reason. That's so he can be ready to move, okay? Now, he might not use the fence as described, as I just described it, but he could perhaps be stroking his chin or something, or imitating an arms folded stance like this. I don't suggest you do this because you're kind of locking yourself in. And I just press down on your bicep, I can lock your hands in. Okay, or press down the middle, I can lock you in. But you may see them doing something like that for people who aren't initiated and don't know. But the main point is to notice is that his hands is going to be above his waistline and at close striking range to the aggressor if they need to be. Okay. Now, once you made this behavior part of your self-defense plan, then you can start to think about the techniques that you've studied to deal with various type of attacks. Okay. At least this way, you'll see them coming and you're closer to deal with them from a closer range and quicker. Okay. Now, that's going to be my tip for you today. Hopefully, this is one thing that you can add to your arsenal along with the brush your teeth and brush your hair that I've taught in other videos, okay? I'm going to stand up and teach you some of these with my dummy and friends and things like that as we go on. But again, my name is Derek Smith. I've created the Special Agent Combative System, and hopefully you'll continue to follow my videos and you're picking up a little bit of something from these videos. You go right down below and go to my website and get much more information, and also pick up a copy of my video while you're there if you want to learn some truly effective and simple techniques just like I taught to other special agents and law enforcement and military in the past. Again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.